Bo, come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, sit. 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 Shake my hand. Good boy. You're a good boy. So today I have been dusting, which is sort of a battle that you cannot win. This thing is great. It stays on for about 4 hours. You can set it for 1 to 4 hours. Look, I dusted my modem and it's still pretty dusty. So this is March. It's March 4th. Once you get into this routine, and really important is making sure your house is clean and you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for anyone else. It's okay to let things go. You know, you can complain about things as much as you want, but it's not going to change anything because people will just, people are just going to listen and they're going to nod and you're still going to have to do it. So rather than reliving things over and over, write it down. If you have to write a letter, to your congressman, I would suggest doing that if you really need to. Sleep on it. You're going to have a hard time no matter what happens. And, if you have to go out and get social services, that's all right. That's something a lot of people refuse to do for whatever their reason is. You're doing it because you need help. There's food banks. There are places that if you don't have money, get food stamps. This is what these services are for. If you need mental health, there's services for you. Even if your county does not offer these things, unless you are on Medicaid, there are places that you can go and talk if you need to do that. I personally don't like talking about things because I had been through so much trauma before the fire that it was like I'd kind of grown thick-skinned by that time, and it was just not necessary. It's something you build up over time, and talking about it is good, but at the same time, I think I learned that it just really doesn't resolve anything. It's more of it felt more to me like I was just I'm not really accomplishing anything. I know a lot of people, that's not what they want. They don't intend for that to be the reason, but it just seemed like I was spinning my wheels and I was doing it more for them than I was for me. And you need to do things for yourself. You need to keep your place clean so when you come in, it doesn't make you depressed. I remember going places and I would come home and it would just make me so depressed because if you're living in a place that's a small, cramped space, or you don't have a lot of room, you need to, systematically go through things and organize so you can find things. Something that's going to brighten your day instead of feeling like, oh God, I have a lot of things that are kind of depressing me right now. Because I need to I'm getting a washing machine. My parents couldn't physically help me with things, lifting things. So I think I was just waiting for someone to come to the rescue. Like I was on Survivor and it was like, okay, the week's over. Where are you? Are you guys going to, are you going to help me? So do things for yourself. I finally removed this pad. I think it was so broken apart already that I just kind of tore it apart and then I just dragged it. Some of it I dragged to the dump. Now I just don't have a pad, but you know what? It's like I don't have to step over this thing. I think my feet were getting messed up. I didn't have really good shoes for a long time because we don't even have shoe stores in this town, and I didn't have a lot of money. Most of my money was just going toward replacing the things I needed. And I'm finally just getting over it and just preparing food, like in place, like I was doing it on this table here next to my computer. And then now I've got another table that I got, and it's really crowded because I don't have storage. But I'm preparing things over there, and it's so much better. Things like complicated things do take a lot of time, so I don't make things things I really like to make are like vegetarian lasagna. I love it, but it's like you got to chop up all these vegetables and you got to prepare them the right way when you don't have counter space and places to work on things like that. And I also recommend make sure your sink, make sure one part of it's always clear no matter what, because you need that to say you want to mop your floors. Okay, it's just something to have ready. If you're just washing dishes, do the dishes a little bit at a time, so you don't feel like at the end of the day, oh my God, I got to do these dishes. Don't dirty up a lot of dishes. Try to just, when you take things off the shelf, use them one at a time. Don't dirty up a lot of things. Your silverware, I tend to go through a lot of silverware. So that's like the main thing for me. But I know right after the fire, I had this kind of routine that I would do, and I would try to wash all my silverware in like a minute. And it's like, if it, and maybe it wasn't as washed as it would have been if I just sat there and, for like 5 minutes, but it just was more of the thing, just getting it over with. One thing I did for a long time, and I still do, because I have animals and sometimes I'll bring them food, and sometimes it's just easier to have paper plates. And so I would get the big paper plates and the little paper plates. So if I was having a snack or something, I wouldn't have to do the dishes on it. But like now I'm making kombucha. Okay, I started making kombucha. I'm probably gonna poison myself. I'll get food poisoning because I don't know, I made a SCOBY hotel, and man, it was like I went, what is this? Today I was like, I found the SCOBY hotel kind of behind something, and it wasn't really in a glass jar or anything. It was just kind of in a pitcher. I was like, oh my God, what is in here? And I hadn't added any. I think I just kind of forgot about it because I was making the kombucha, and I just kind of set it aside because I already have 2 SCOBYs. If you're making kombucha, it's so easy to make. And it really does seem like it helps my stomach a lot. And it's not that hard to make. It's just a matter of doing it once you have figured it out and gone through the process. It's really easy to make it. It's just more of the reason that I started was because I was just accumulating so many aluminum cans that it just got kind of the point where it was just not sustainable. Like I don't really, I mean, I still like to drink soda now and then, but it's just got to the point where it was getting out of control, and I was just having all these cans. So I just mopped, but you can see this floor, it's so worn. In some places, it's kind of stained, just because there's just so much traffic. This is like a high traffic area here. And right here, it's really worn. It's pretty much the only place I can go. And in the kitchen, it's just the stain. It looks like Nevada. It's like Nevada. Dog won't eat food. That's a whole different episode I'm going to go into about what's going on with my dog. And putting a dog on a diet is it's not an easy thing to do. This looks all right over here. Somebody is sleeping. I don't want to wake him, but you can't see, but he's sleeping. So I just mopped, but you can see this floor, it's so worn. In some places, it's kind of stained, just because there's just so much traffic. This is like a high traffic area here. And right here, it's really worn. It's pretty much the only place I can go. And in the kitchen, it's just the stain. It looks like Nevada. It's like Nevada. Dog won't eat food. That's a whole different episode I'm going to go into about what's going on with my dog. And putting a dog on a diet is it's not an easy thing to do. This looks all right over here. Well, I think I woke him up, but I was just going to say that, yeah, so I'm going to probably stain the floors. That's my next project, but it's going to be really, I need to get rid of a few more things. I may work on this bookshelf idea that I have. It's going to be kind of a room separator / bookshelf / extra storage for like canned goods and things. Yeah, so take care of yourself. Do something good for yourself. Don't just, if you're working, you're working for the man or the boss man. Keep in mind, you need to, you need to pay your rent. You need to do these things. You need to pay your car payment or whatever it is, the things that you need to do to survive. But you also need to worry about your own mental health and your own surroundings. Like, it's important. And if you're going through a disaster or you've been through a disaster, and even, in some of these places where you can't even see what it is, but you just, you need to do things that are going to keep you safe. And if that means going to the doctor or taking a little trip overnight out of town, or joining a group that's gonna just get your mind off of things. And even for me, like I go outside and I'll just work, or I'll go cut firewood, or I will rake, or I'll have a little project. And yeah, I'm even getting into art. Like I don't know if you've seen any. Art is something you can do when it's raining like this. You can sit in the house and you can sketch, or you can draw, or you can go online and you can sketch if that's your fancy. Do something where you're getting to be creative. Play a game. I like to play these word games online. I think it's good to do those things, but you don't want to overdo it, because then you're putting so much time into things that are basically not helping you. And then and you may be saying to yourself, well, I don't know how your mind works, but just because it's sometimes you get to the point where I'll just eat off of paper plates. Like, my standards were getting to the point where I won't shower every day, and I do have a problem. I do not shower every day. But I am going to go in later, and I'm going to clean my shower. I just don't like going in there. I will show you my shower, my bathroom. It's very small. I'm 6'3". I just don't like being in there. I hate it. So I will not shave. Today I cut my beard, but I won't even shave. I just don't like going in there. It's like, there's just something about that it makes me claustrophobic. I guess I have claustrophobia. I guess I've always had claustrophobia. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again. So we were just sitting here, and I was wondering maybe if I don't know what. I was wondering maybe if we wanted to go for a walk. You want to go for a walk? Are you sure? Did you hear me? A walk. You want to go for a walk?